Hello, boys and girls. Undertaker Freak 1127 here, and I just got out of the shower and I went to do my usual daily stuff before I do whatever the hell I'm going to do during my day. And I began to realize after I sat down on my computer and looked at Facebook that a lot of people are going back to school tomorrow. The first day of school officially for them may be tomorrow. What is this crap? Microphone currently in use? Just whatever. A lot of people are going back to school tomorrow, and I understand some people probably have already gone back to school. I understand some people are going back to school later, but judging by the number of posts on my Facebook from people saying, "God damn it, no! Why can't summer just be a little bit longer?" I'm gonna make this video just for those people because that's the majority of people I'm seeing are going back to school tomorrow. And I would like to let it be known that yes, I do feel your pain. Even though I graduated back in 2008, trust me, I have felt your pain in the past, and there are many, many, many things that I dreaded before school started and when school started. But mostly before school started, because you have to do a whole lot of shit before you actually get into that classroom, before you actually get into that school, before you step into that indoctrination center they call a public school. I mean, before you step into a public school, excuse me. There's a lot of things you have to do, a lot of things you have to take care of. There's a big laundry list of things you have to do. I dreaded each and every single one of them up until about junior year because I became very apathetic to everything. Well, regarding public school, because, I don't know, after something like 10 and a half years in public school, all the things you have to do, all the prerequisites you have to take care of before you get to class, didn't really mean much to me anymore. But, all that being said, I have compiled a list of all the things that I really, really dread. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, doesn't matter what grade you're going into. Some of these things you may be able to relate with, unless you're one of those really preppy kind of people who just loves school, loves everything about school, loves all your teachers, kisses ass, brown noses. This probably will not apply to you. But this is just some of the things that I these are some of the things I really dreaded. Starting with number one, which was buying clothes and shoes for the year. Now, from grade, I don't know, let's say 3rd grade on to about 11th grade, I was a growing boy. Of course, I was constantly outgrowing clothes that I loved. I hated to see some clothes go. I loved to see some clothes go. My feet got to about a size 14 by that time. They haven't grown since, luckily. I just always hated buying clothes. First of all, I'm a guy, okay? That kind of helps the process along of hating buying clothes. I don't like to shop for anything. I especially do not like to shop right before school starts when all the sales are going on and my mom drags me by the hair into the car and says, "We're going to the sale at Kohl's!" Not a very fun time, especially when you get to that sale at Kohl's and there are about 100 or 200 like-minded mothers dragging their unwilling sons behind them, looking for clothes, pushing other mothers out of the way, trying to get the best deal. The only thing I liked about shopping is by the time I got to about 8th grade, my mom and dad let me wear whatever the hell I want because prior to that, they dressed me up like a fucking rodeo clown. So, it was always just a hassle. Always a hassle. Nobody, okay, I'm sure some girls out there like it because you're girls, you love shopping. If there's something with a dollar sign attached with it, you can put in a bag that says Kohl's or Kmart or JCPenney on it. You can take it home and throw it in a closet. You love it. I understand that, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Buying clothes and shoes. Hated it. The second thing I hated doing was getting that schedule. Sometimes I got the schedule in the mail. Other times I actually had to go to the school and get the schedule. Having to go up to the school and get the schedule is worse because you knew. Oh God, did you know? The minute you pulled up to that school a week before it started to go and get your schedule and get your student ID and whatever, you knew it was coming. What was coming? School. So I like getting it in the mail more often than not. That way I could just burn it before I even opened it and just say, "Oh, I lost my schedule," and have an excuse to be late to a few classes on the first day and go, I don't know, go do something other than go to class. The biggest reason I always hated seeing my schedules because I was always, and well, often, I should say, often informed of who the shittiest teachers and the most mean, rude, obnoxious teachers were for that year, for the upcoming year, from people who had already been through those teachers. And I'd look at my schedule and see those teachers, and I'd say, "Oh, this is going to be a fun 180 days, isn't it?" That was the biggest thing. Plus, you'd have to hear on Facebook and MySpace and Twitter, oh my God, all over and over again, people posting statuses, "Oh my God, I got Miss Crabass. Oh my God, this is going to be so awesome." Then you'd see a lot of comments, "Oh, you got Miss Crabass. Good luck to you. You're going to hate her by the half of it." But, you know, that kind of shit. As if anyone really cares what your schedule is to begin with. I never did. I never cared. No, I didn't even care about my friend's schedule. I didn't care about his schedule with them. I just wanted to get the fuck done and over with the year. That was the second thing I truly, truly hated. The third thing I hated, I went to about 3 different high schools in 4 different years, and we always had, this is the one constant with all the high schools I went to, and including middle school and 6th grade, orientation. They corral you up like the sheep that they think you are, the sheep like that they treat you like. They put you in a big gymnasium or an auditorium, and the principal comes up, grabs a microphone, and basically tells them, in a nutshell, how they're going to keep you down as individuals for the next 180 days. Sitting there and listening to a bunch of drivel about shit you don't care about, rules, dress code, policies, bells, schedules, all kinds of shit that I never really cared about. I usually fell asleep and I had to get pulled out, and God, that was the thing I enjoyed about high school. I always had the annual principal visit for falling asleep during orientation. It was always a fun time, and that principal knew just exactly what I thought of his school and how he was going to run things. But basically all orientation is basically telling you, oh, hey, look, we know you aren't individuals when you come in here. We're going to keep you down just a little bit more. This is how we're going to do it. And here's some rules you have to follow. So that was always not very fun. The fourth thing I really hated, didn't happen all the time, but usually in a cramped school where you don't have a lot of lockers, having a locker mate. Folks, I don't like having my personal things around people. I don't trust anyone. I'm sorry. That's just how it is with me. I don't trust a lot of people. So when I'm told I have to have a locker mate or else basically have nowhere to put my shit, I get a little bit pissed off. And I say this because the one locker mate I had in 9th grade had this really awesome habit of taking his chewing gum out of his mouth and sticking it right on the inside of the door. And he also had a nasty habit of stealing my things as well. Pencils, pens. Nothing really valuable because he knew I'd kick his ass if I found out. However, one time I just had an idea and I put something really disgusting in my pocket. I took a bag, filled it with mayonnaise, peed in it, then put some mustard on top of it, mixed it around, put it in my pocket. You know what? By the end of the day, that was gone. He wanted to steal my concoction of mayonnaise, mustard, and urine, so it's just not fun having a locker mate. You always got to try. The lockers are this fucking big. 2 people cannot have lockers, okay? It's just not a good idea. So that was another thing I really dreaded. Another thing I really, really hated, and actually I sort of liked this one because it gave me an excuse to be late, was finding the classes. This is one thing that came into play through my junior and senior year because I was going to Bowie High School in Arlington, Texas, a huge, huge school with many, many halls and wings and all sorts of compartments everywhere, hidden doors, invisible hallways, that kind of shit. Oh my God. It was always a pain in the ass. And you'd always have the one nice teacher that would tell you, oh, room 204 is down there. You'd always have the one asshole teacher that said, get to class! I don't care if you can't find it! Get to class! Finding the class is always a pain in the ass because you no matter where you are, unless you have no shame whatsoever, you always hated walking into class while the teacher was talking or while something was going on because everybody goes, like clockwork, hey, he's late. Let's stare at him. Always happen, and I hate having eyes upon me. Well, to a degree, so that's another one I hated. Another thing I hated, it's right along the same lines of buying clothes and shoes, buying supplies for class. You might have teachers, you might have had teachers in the past. They give you a big list of supplies you'll need for their class. You know, pencils, pens, protractors, red pens, purple pens, blue pens, green pens, white pens, off-white pens, cream-colored pens, khaki pens, all kinds of colored pens. Calculator. If you don't have a scientific calculator, you have to buy batteries for it. Okay, all this kind of thing. Paper, notebooks, binder, textbooks, all kinds of shit. You know, I just hated going down that line because I did supply shopping with my dad, and my dad was a complete asshole. That was never, ever, ever, ever fun. He wasn't cheap. It's not like he hated spending the money. It's just he was always such an asshole about it. You can't get that. That's not good enough. It's a fucking protractor. What, do anyone plate it in gold or something? I mean, Jesus Christ. It was always a pain in the ass. One of the final things I hated and always dreaded about the beginning of school is talking to people on the very first day that I would have absolutely no problem ignoring for the rest of the year. You sort of talk to people the previous year. You see, when you're in 4th or 5th grade, you kind of get an idea of the kind of people you just don't want to talk to, the kind of people you don't stand, the kind of people you would probably end up going insane if you had a class with them. And the next year you see them and you try to avoid them. But they see you. They see you when they come and they say, "Oh, hi, how was your summer? My summer was fine. Hell, I went to Bermuda. It was so awesome, but a big hurricane came and swept my grandmother down the ocean. It was so awful, but you know what? Oh, I'm so glad I saw you. How was your summer, man? Oh, how was your... Oh, wait, before you tell me how your summer was, yeah, blah, 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 blah." That kind of person that makes you just want to run for the nearest emergency exit and just get the whole school running right behind you. That kind of person. You can always avoid them, but... with my luck, I had classes with a few of these miscreants. And finally, the most important thing I dreaded about the first day of school. This is the most salient point of all. The most salient point of all, the number one thing I always hated about going back to school, realizing there were 179 days left of this utter and complete bullshit. That was worst of all. I mean, clothes, locker mates, idiots, assholes, bad lunches, all that stuff, it can pass. But realizing every day with that mental countdown, 179, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 72. Sometimes you get so crazy you start counting in Spanish, you know, in Arabic, and words that you didn't even know in these different languages. You just start getting so pissed off and realizing there are so many days left. And on the very last day, before school ends, it all just kind of charges out of your mind as if it's a running of the bulls. Pamplona's in your head. Just bulls running everywhere. All that shit. Bullshit, pretty much. It's all gone. It's all over with. And then you realize, oh, you have to make up days because you had too many snow days during the year and you have to sit through this bullshit for a few days more. Which, actually, I could add one more to this list since I did live in Michigan for most of my high school career. When every other fucking school around you has school off and your school has school when it snows a whole lot. That always pissed me off too. Yeah, so there you have it. There's my list. If you've somehow suffered through this whole 12 minutes and 3 seconds, let me know what you think about school. What are the things that you dread the most if I did not get to it on this list? I would like to know. Have a good day, folks, and good luck to all of you going back to school. I'm sure it'll be a fun time. Try not to be too upset with yourselves. It's just school. It's what the government says you need. It's what the teachers say you need to be successful in life, right? And they're always right. Just one more piece of advice. Try not to be too indoctrinated. That's always bad when they turn you into a brain-dead sheep. Try not to do that. Have a good day.